Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're going to be counting down the top 10 figures from Figma. Good Smile has done a really good job of making the Figma line one of the best import lines there is. There's a ton of great figures in there, so I have to give this disclaimer in the front of this video. I don't have them all. I haven't handled all of them, so there may be some out there that belong on this list instead of the ones I have. For instance, I know the Black Rock shooter figures, or at least I think they're really good. They look really good, but I don't have any. I've never seen them in person other than in like cases, so I can't include them in the list, obviously. So of the figures I've reviewed, of the figures I own and have handled, this is the top 10 list as I see it. If there's one thing Figma's known for being good at, it's making anime figures. And if there's one thing they're known for being not so good at, it's making realistic human figures. But somehow this Leonidas breaks the mold. Other than his face being a little bit off, this figure's a pretty darn good figure. He's got some articulation limitations, but he's loaded with accessories and has a really nice body sculpt and paint job. So even though he's not perfect, he's definitely one of their better figures that I've seen in a long time. The Figma Link is easily the best Link figure we've ever gotten. He does have some flaws, he could definitely be better, but he's still a really darn good figure. He's loaded with accessories and has some pretty nice paint detail where there is paint. He's fun to pose and he looks great in a Smash Brothers collection, so it's easy to ignore the problems of this figure in favor of the really nice things that they did. When it comes to the anime, SAO was really hit or miss. Luckily for us, the figures were not so much. They were pretty much all hits. This Kirito has a lot of really nice paintwork, some really cool accessories, and tons of playability. You can get this guy in lots of different poses, and thanks to his accessories, they're gonna look fantastic. He's gonna be a great shelf piece, and he's gonna be a lot of fun to pose, so if you even like the anime a little bit, you're gonna wanna pick this guy up. Say what you will about the anime, but Asana is one of those figures that's really fun to have. I think people that aren't SAO fans will still find something to like about this figure. The paint job is particularly complex and it matches the sculpt rather nicely, but the best thing about this figure is her sword accessory. It looks great on the shelf and she's really fun to pose with it, and she's going to stand out because of it, so I have to recommend this figure. When I first reviewed the Lucena figure, I gave it kind of a hard time, and I stand by the problems that this figure has, but despite those problems, it still has a whole lot going on for it. It's loaded with detail and can be posed well enough. That's pretty much all it takes. I mean, this figure looks great, has everything you want it to have in terms of accessories, so if the posing is a little bit limited, I'm willing to overlook it in favor of a really nice display piece. She's known as one of those figures where it's just really fun to pose. She doesn't have the most elaborate accessories, but the fact that she does have the muzzle flash means you're going to be able to get her in some really fun poses. And the fact that she has really nice, clean paintwork with a high contrast color scheme, she's going to look really good in those poses. She's got a really great range of motion, and if you like the character in the anime at all, you're going to really like this figure. And even if you didn't, you're probably still going to like the figure. It's pretty darn good. When it comes to action figures, sometimes simple is better, and this Samus Aran figure is a perfect example of that. It doesn't have tons of stuff all over the place, it doesn't have the most elaborate paint job ever, but it does what it does very well. It has all the paint it needs, all the articulation it needs, and all the accessories it needs. It's basically your perfect Samus Aran figure. Although hopefully the next one they make is even better. That would be really nice, but this one is definitely one that you should add to your collection. Well, I might be a sucker for underboob, but this Ryuko figure has a whole lot more going on for it than just a little bit of unique cleavage. She's got tons of detail, really nice paintwork, and some cool accessories. On top of that, it's a really great likeness to the anime, and she can be posed in pretty much any pose you want, so there's not a whole lot to not like about this figure. Just like her counterpart Ryuko, Satsuki has plenty of bulging breasts and a little bit more butt than most people are comfortable with, but on top of those awesome features, this figure has a really great color scheme which is really well executed, great range of motion, and some pretty cool accessories. She's going to look great on the shelf and you're going to have a lot of fun posing her, and probably staring at her more than you should. Some people say Attack on Titan is the best anime ever, and others say it's the most overrated anime ever, but one thing is for sure, and that is that these figures are fantastic. They are some of the most dynamically posable figures I have ever owned. Not only are they fully detailed and highly articulated, but they have the widest range of accessories that provide for the widest range of poses that I've ever seen. They're gonna look fantastic on your shelf, whether they're standing there by themselves or up in the air with their 3DM gear. They're gonna look great and you're gonna love to pose these figures. There's not much more I can say about that. They are absolutely fantastic.